So, a few weeks ago, I was having tea with one of my closest friends. She's a brilliant designer, by the way. Like, genuinely, one of the most talented people I know. 5 years of architecture school, 5 years of grinding through studio at a firm that shall not be named. And I made the mistake of telling her that I was starting a podcast about AI in design. She put down her tea, looked me dead in the eyes and said, "Divya, AI is garbage. It's a gimmick. And we are losing real talent because of this nonsense. Why are we promoting it?" And here's the thing. She's not entirely wrong. Like, she's not entirely right either, but she's not wrong. Welcome back to the Geeks Design Studio. I'm Divya, and today we are doing something a little different. Today we are not just celebrating AI. Today we are having the real conversation. The one that's happening in studios and universities and WhatsApp groups all over the world, but somehow never makes it into the polished LinkedIn posts. Because if we are going to talk about the future of design and technology, we need to be honest about what we are actually afraid of and what we might actually be getting wrong. She put her tea down and said, "AI is garbage." And honestly, that conversation is the real reason this episode exists. Let's actually hear her out. And before I give you my side, and I do have a side, clearly, I want to give my friend the mic for a second, because I think she was saying something that a lot of you are also thinking, or that someone in your life is saying to you. Her argument summed up was this: when firms and studios start learning on AI tools for the early conceptual work, the sketching, the massing, the ideation, the junior architects and fresh graduates stop getting the chance to develop those foundational skills. The hand-to-brain muscle memory, the ability to sit with a problem and wrestle it into something beautiful. And she's pointing at something real, because historically, and I mean historically like CAD, Revit, every time a new technology enters architecture, there is a version of this same conversation. Back when CAD replaced drafting boards in the 80s, architects worried that students would lose the ability to draw by hand. When BIM came in, people worried that architects would stop understanding buildings as a three-dimensional problem. And you know what? Those concerns weren't crazy. Some of them were right. Hand-drawing skills did decline in mainstream practice. Spatial thinking did shift. There were real losses. So my friend wasn't being dramatic. She was being historically literate. And she was asking a genuinely important question. Are we trading something irreplaceable for speed? The answer, I think, it depends entirely on how we use it, which is exactly the conversation we need to be having out loud, in public, not just in the comment section of an AI-generated render on Instagram. She wasn't being dramatic, she was being historically literate, and that's a very different thing. And why am I actually here though? Let me tell you why I started caring about this so much recently. Because it wasn't always obvious to me either. A couple of years ago into my career, I was sitting in the office of 11 p.m. on a Thursday, not doing anything creative, not solving any fascinating spatial problem. I was uploading a room data schedule for the third time that week because someone changed a door width. Imagine. And I remember thinking, I did 7 years of architecture school, 5 years of architecture school. I have a genuine obsession with the relationship between human beings and built space. I can spend hours thinking about how ceiling height affects the way a person feels in a room. And right now, I'm updating a door within a schedule. Let this breathe. The frustration should be palpable and relatable. And that was the moment. That was when I started asking, what if the boring part didn't have to be mine? What if I could hand the door width to something that genuinely doesn't care about door widths? And I could get back to the bit that actually requires a human being who loves architecture. That's not me abandoning craft. That's me protecting it. That's me saying the thing I trained for this, too valuable to be buried under spreadsheets. And look, I want to be honest. I didn't come into AI with open arms. I was suspicious too. I played with a couple of generative tools and thought, sure, this looks cool. But it also looks like a render that is software made for itself and not for a human being. The lighting is always soft and dreamy, and the geometry is always a little bit unbuilt. And I had the same fear as my friend as we outsourcing the thinking. But then I started actually using it inside the real workflows, and something shifted. That was me protecting craft, not abandoning it. There's a difference, and it matters enormously. But what we should actually be scared of? Okay, here's where I actually agree with my friend, and where I want to complicate the argument at the same time. The real danger is not AI. The real danger is passive adaptation. There is a version of the AI future in architecture where firms use these tools to generate more output with fewer junior staff, where the entry-level positions, the ones that used to be the training ground, the place where you built your eye and your judgment, those positions just shrink or disappear. And if that happens, if we use AI to reduce headcount rather than to elevate capability, then yes, we lose real talent. Not because AI stole it, but because we made a business decision that chose efficiency over apprenticeship. That's not an AI problem. That's a leadership problem. That's a values problem. That's a profession needing to decide what it actually believes about how people become good designers. And the best version of this future, the one I'm actually working toward, and why I'm making this podcast, is where AI handles the computational load and young designers get more time to develop judgment, not less. Where the first 3 years of your career are spent learning to think like an architect, not learning to update schedules like a data entry operator. And before you say that's naive, firms like Heatherwick Studios, Zaha Hadid Architects, and Big are already using AI especially to give their teams more room to explore. The question is whether the rest of the industry follows the good example of the cheap one. The real danger is not AI. The real danger is passive adoption, letting it shrink like the spaces where the next generation learns to think. In episode 1, I gave you the hype reel, the cheat code, the parallel thinking model, the sustainability simulation, the BIM glow up, the living render, and I stand by every single one of those. But I left something out, intentionally, because I didn't want to overwhelm you in the first episode. And unintentionally because my friend's tea conversation hadn't happened yet. What I left out was the how, not just the what, but how you actually build the skills to be the person who chooses well, who cares intelligently, who looks at the AI's 1,000 options and knows which one is actually right. Because here's the thing that nobody talks about enough. AI doesn't replace task. And taste doesn't come from a prompt. Taste comes from drawing 500 bad facades until you understand why a good one works. It comes from standing inside a badly proportioned room and feeling it in your chest before you can articulate it analytically. The designers who will master AI are not the ones who jumped on it fastest. They are the ones who brought the deepest craft to it. The one who spent time building the human judgment that makes the machine actually useful. So here are the 3 things episode 1 didn't tell you. 1. You still need to learn the rules before you break them. Using Grasshopper to generate a parametric facade without understanding structural logic is like using autocorrect when you never learn to spell. It kind of works, but it also catastrophically fails at the worst moments. And the foundational skills, spatial reasoning, structural intuition, environmental principles, these are not optional prerequisites that AI makes irrelevant. They are the thing that makes your AI output actually buildable, actually inhabitable, actually good. Second, the prompt is the design brief. People think using AI is just pressing a button. The most underrated skill in the next decade of architecture will be knowing how to write a prompt. Because a prompt is a design brief. It requires you to be precise about constraints, aspirational about outcomes, clear about context, and honest about what you don't know yet. The designers who write brilliant prompts are the ones who understand their projects at a deep level, which means the skill of analysis and synthesis is more important now, not less. Third, the emotional intelligence layer. There is something that no model, no matter how powerful, can simulate. And that is the conversation in the meeting room when the client says, I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. And you have to translate that feeling into a spatial decision. That emotional intelligence, that ability to hold someone's intangible feeling and turn it into something real and structural and beautiful. That is irreplaceable. And ironically, the more AI handles the technical weight, the more visible and important that skill becomes. Which means invest in it massively. The designer who will master AI are the ones who brought the deepest craft to it. Taste is not a prompt, it has to be earned. Anyways, back to the friend, what I actually said to her. So back to my friend with her tea and her own correct and also incomplete opinion. After she said AI is garbage, I said something like, okay, I hear you. And I think the fear underneath that is real. The fear that we are going to automate the apprenticeship phase and produce a generation of designers who can generate 1,000 options but don't actually know what makes any of them good. And she nodded. Because that's actually what she was afraid of. Not the tools, the carelessness, the speed without wisdom, the vibe over the substance. And I told her, that's not an AI problem. That's a culture problem. And the answer isn't to refuse the tools. It's to demand that the culture around the tools stays honest, stays rigorous, stays human. She picked up her tea again, which I am taking as argument or agreement. The truth is, my friend and I want the same thing. We both want a profession that respects the intelligence and craft and the emotional depth that this work requires. We just disagree on whether the tools are the problem or whether our relationship to the tools is the problem. And I think that disagreement, that honest, caffeinated, slightly heated disagreement between people who genuinely care is exactly the conversation the industry needs more of. Not the polished LinkedIn posts, not the breathless AI hype, not the doom and gloom headlines. The real one, over tea at 6 p.m. when you have both had a long week and you're not performing for anyone. She wasn't afraid of the tools. She was afraid of the carelessness, and honestly, same. So, guess what? Your homework this week. Homework time. And this week, there are 2 of them, because this episode was 2 episodes in one. Homework 1. Have the conversation. Find the person in your life who thinks AI is garbage. Or the person who thinks it's the answer to everything, and actually talk to them. Not to win, to understand. Because the best ideas in the industry are going to come from the tension between those 2 positions, not from one side shouting at the other. Homework 2. Identify the skill you want to protect. The part of the practice that is irreducibly human. The thing you never want a machine to touch. And then invest in it this week, deliberately, consciously, because that skill, whatever it is, going to become more valuable in the decade ahead, not less. If you want to protect your hand sketching, do 20 minutes of freehand tomorrow morning. If you want to protect your client intuition, have a conversation with a non-architect about a space they love. If you want to protect your structural creativity, read 1 chapter of a book you should have read at university and did not. The machine is coming for the parts of your job that deserve to be taken. Make sure the best parts are too human to hand over. I'm Divya Goyal. This is Geek Design Studio, and if the episode made you think or argue with me in your head, I genuinely want to hear it. Leave a review, send me a text, Tell me what your friends said over tea, and I'll see you in the next episode. Goodbye.